Hi, welcome to another episode of Be My Guest. Today I have two people that I met at the Milford Creative Writing Group, right at the Milford Library. And I believe they meet on Tuesday evenings. At what time, Marcia?
7:30.
7:30. This is Marcia Matthews, and she is an author. And we have Jeff Calzaloya. Did I say? I said it right.
It was well done.
And he is an emerging author. And so you've got the best of both worlds here. Somebody who's emerging and somebody who is already established. So we have a couple of books here. I have Incubus, written by Marcia. And first of all, I want to just have people get to know you. When did you know that you wanted to be a writer? How old did it hit you? Not old, but what time in your life?
Well, I was only 5 years old. I couldn't even spell yet, and I started writing little books and showing them to my parents' friends.
Okay, so it started very early.
Yes.
And when you got into school, did anything blossom? Any teacher recognize this? Or?
Yes, I won an essay contest, and I was the only kid that did, you know how they used to structure sentences, and we used to have to diagram the sentence?
Yes.
And I was the only kid in the class that got 100, and everyone was like, whoa, you know.
So the handwriting was on the wall there.
And then the following year, which was 8th grade, I wrote my first little novel. And, you know, it was a fantasy type of thing, but it's actually selling on Amazon, and I'm surprised that I'm finding my tribe, that, you know, things that I never thought would interest anybody but myself.
What's the name of it?
It's called Gegenspion. It's about a counter-spy in World War II.
Can you spell it?
Gegenspion, Gegenspion.
And they can get it online?
Yes.
Very good. How long has it been out?
A couple of years.
Oh, so it's. Would you say it's for adults or children, or?
It's for both. I'd say anyone from middle school on up, and it's an adventure. And he's kind of a swashbuckling hero who's a good guy, but he happens to be a German. He happens to be a prince, but he doesn't go around bragging that he's a prince.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, there's a lot of royalty in Germany that sort of run around with a suitcase visiting relatives.
Right.
So he's just a typical guy.
Where would you get an idea like that?
Well, in my family, we had these old German books, and I started reading, teaching myself the language and getting interested in the history of the whole thing, which went back a couple hundred years.
So then, you hit high school. Anything else emerging by then?
Nothing much in high school. I worked on the student newspaper, and then when I went to college at UNH, that's when I got really interested in the plot of the story I ended up publishing as Incubus.
Incubus. Now I have two copies of these right here. One, which was the first one was Fast Friends. Is that correct?
Fast Friends is the first half. That's set in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And then Incubus is when the characters go to the big city, Boston.
Hippieville.
That's
the one I like the both, but the one I really I love the Hippieville was really amazing. I mean, have you read them, Jeff? Did you read her books?
Not yet, but I do want to read them.
Yeah, I mean it's very well written. Very well written. Have you got any other ones on the way that we should know?
Yes, I have several historical novels on my Amazon author page, and they're all ebooks, and they're set in different time periods, like the American Revolution, and around, let's see, 1812, Jean Lafitte, New Orleans, Morgan's Way, which is Henry Morgan in Jamaica. And I approach every novel as a historical novel, because even today is a historic time period.
Right. I know. I've noticed that the trend with you, that everything has a history background to it. I usually go for true crime and some of the mysteries and all. And this was different for me. This type of thing was different, and I liked it.
How was it different?
Usually when you read something like true crime or a mystery, I don't know if it's written where they get you right on the first page or it's just very dramatic. Yours made me think a little bit more, and it was a slower pace to me. It was a slower pace, and it interested me because it was different. I love it if it's different.
It was partly inspired by soap operas.
Really?
Because you know how they develop the characters and the plots and the interweaving plots.
Yeah.
And I went through, I think, 10 complete drafts. One of them was third person omniscient, first person present tense, first person past tense. So, and every time I workshopped it with a bunch of people. So I went through so many drafts. But I did get one really nice comment.
Go for it.
If
Read
I could
it.
read
Sure.
it. It's about people and how they fit into their generation and how their times affect their lives. It is timeless because the search for independence and a sense of family is a timeless theme, but one that seemed particularly poignant in the 60s, when the young were coming up and overthrowing the old. It was exciting to be running wild and searching for a better family than the one from which we all came. That was one of my friends in New Hampshire who read it, Sam Southworth. And you know, I just wanted to express what the 60s was and to convey it for people that didn't live through it.
Right.
But nothing much has changed, unfortunately, because 45 years after, we have Steubenville and we have Torrington. Same situation where a guy doesn't think he did anything wrong, but you know, he finally, after several months, he finally realizes, yes, what you did was wrong, and he has to atone for it.
Right. Oh.